Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications. That's local to North Alabama. You can also find us on the web at icradio.media, and you can also find us on syndicated television. That's Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Again, thank you so much for watching. We know you could be doing anything else, but you're watching us. I'm getting creative here. How many times have you been to, say, Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop? And maybe you found this really cool belt, and maybe it was just a little bit damaged in some ways. I'll show you one Mother picked up the other day. And she found it because she's a huge Alabama fan. I think she's hinting for me to make her a bracelet. But anyway, you can see it's got the Alabama logo right there. And it's on, let's see, this is a pretty big belt. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, has 4 of the Alabama logos on it. So there's a lot I can do with this. And I'll show you a couple of examples of what I found in the past. So I found a belt that had Auburn on it. I'm a huge Auburn fan. So there you go. You can see that it had just the very same. Had little screws in the back. I don't know if you can see that, the little screws. And so all I did, I just had a little screwdriver, and I went on ahead and took the screws off of the back of this particular belt, and I made this one. And I really do like this really soft leather. I only use leather in my stuff. So anyway, I made that. And then another time, I found another one. And so it's kind of like a bracelet cuff, and I wear this a lot, and I've made several of them. But I really like this, so what I did is I cut the belt. I cut it, I whacked it, like right here. And then I added these components. Now I found these through Amazon. Okay, so you can go to the website, you can see right up there. Now the thing about using these, you'll need to use some pliers. Now for added strength, this thing is not coming off. So because I'm rough on jewelry, so when I make it where it's going to last, okay? Because I'll just jerk stuff off and whatever and not pay any attention and tear things up. So I like to add jewelry glue inside this little thing right here. So it's kind of punched out just a little bit. And then what you'll do is get your pliers, put the glue first. Okay, now dab it on there. Don't put a whole bunch of it because you don't want the glue getting all over your leather, because then you'll be able to see it and you'll never get it off. It'll never look right. So then I'll just get my pliers very gently. Now I get the kinds that I have different kinds of pliers. I'm a tool nut. So I have some that have a grip kind of thing on them. Then I've got the smooth one. For something like this, you'll want to use your smooth pliers. Okay. Now I like to wear this. I like them like this. Then I added this component like right here. You know, just to be pretty. You can add it or not add it. I like it because I can just like on and off real quick. Okay, so I've got my bracelet, and it's almost serves as a cuff, but it's got this really pretty part right here. It's a little bit big. I need to kind of, and I can do that. I can make this just a little bit smaller. One thing I could have done was shorten the leather. Now, if you decide, let's say somebody comes to you and they have a bracelet somebody made for them, and it's a gift, and they don't, they want to wear it, but it's too big. So something you can do, now you'll have to buy these components. You cannot reuse something like that. So you'll need to cut off just a little bit at a time now. Make sure you have their arm there. And this is another thing. If you're making something for yourself, or maybe you just like to make stuff, you're really not in the business, but you just want to make stuff. And people enjoy something like that, okay? Now, the typical size of a wrist is going to be about 7 inches, 6.5 to 7 inches. And so what you'll want to do is get a tape measure, okay? And so let's just pretend this is the wrist. That would be a little wrist, wouldn't it? So what you'll do is just put the tape around it. And then you need, because everything is preference, okay? Some people like stuff to fit kind of tight. I don't. I want mine to fit a little bit loose. So find out if they prefer having their bracelets to be snug fit, which would be just like kind of like that. Now you got to allow for the component, like if you're going to use a snap, so you'll need to allow for that. So find out if they like it loose, and then find out how loose. So what you'll do is put that tape measure around their arm, okay? And then you want to say, do you want it kind of like that? Or do you want it a little bit tighter? And just again, make sure you allow enough. And I would go on ahead and cut it to bigger. So let's just say their wrist is 7 inches. That's a standard. So let's say it's 7 inches. And so you got it wrapped around. Let's pretend this is 7 inches. So you'll say, now do you want it looser? And you'll just kind of give just a little bit. Do you want it looser or do you want it tighter? So that's step number one, because you don't want to use maybe it's a piece of jewelry that their grandmother had. And their grandmother passed and they wanted to keep it. They just wanted you to redo it just a little bit. If you mess it up, that's somebody's heirloom, so make sure you're especially careful. The size is the most important thing. It's better to cut it too big and then size it down, okay? My rule of thumb right there. And you know why I'm saying that? Because I've made this mistake before, okay? So I can tell you what not to do on anything. Okay, so we got that right. And so another example, and I found this leather and I fell in love. This was a belt. This was a belt. I fell in love with that. I just thought it was so awesome. Then I had this component right here. And so I added a snap right in, so you can see the snap right here is in the back. I added this. These are the snaps as well. And see, that's how that works. Now this is really awesome, the way this works. So I added a snap down in the bottom of this, which actually holds the two little floral components together, and it also holds this one right here. Okay, so these are just a couple of things I just found bargain shopping one day. But the belt I fell in love with, I found this. It was like $1 at Shepherd's Cove thrift shop, and I've done a lot with this. Now let me tell you something else about working with leather. Okay, you need to really, before you give it to someone, you really need to get leather, cut it out the size you want, whatever you like, and you need to lay it in warm water for about 30 minutes, okay? And what that's going to do is soften the leather, because the leather on a belt and then leather that you're going to wear as a bracelet is two different things. You want it to be pliable. You want it to be very bendable. You don't want it to be stiff, okay? Because the person's never going to wear it if it's stiff. So that's what you'll want to do with that. Set it in water. You're not going to ruin it. And then you'll want to dry it off as much as you possibly can after it sets. Now, I wouldn't set it for longer than an hour, I don't think. I usually do about 20-30 minutes or something like that. And again, that's just going to soften up that leather and make it easier for you to work with and for your customer to wear. Okay, then I'm going to let it set until it dries. Okay, it's got to set for 24 hours. And let me show you another component I have. I buy these right here. This is just leather right here. It's strap leather. You can dye it. You can leave it like it is. I have one right here that's out of the panel. Okay, now these have already been softened. Okay, so I'm not going to have to do anything to that, but I do. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and cut it to about the size I think it should be. Again, allow for a snap. And what we're going to do today is this little component right here is on this belt Mother gave me. I'm going to take that off, and we're going to make an Alabama bracelet with it. So first of all, let's just kind of measure it out. I'll put it on my wrist. And I'm going to allow, because I like mine kind of loose, and the other one I made just too loose. So I want it to be something kind of, I want it to fit kind of like that. You know, just kind of like a bracelet. Then I'm going to allow more area, and I'm going to cut it bigger than I think I'm going to need, because again, I can always cut it shorter. I can't cut it longer. So make sure you do it the right way. Okay, so make sure you've got some good leather scissors. I really like these. You can get these at Amazon. And these are Fiskars. Now make sure they say they're made for leather. Okay, and by the way, don't let anybody use this for anything else. This is going to be your pair of scissors that you use in your leather work. Okay. So let's go on ahead, and I'm going to just cut that right there. Okay. Now, another reason, we'll go ahead and put this over to the side. And there's my cut piece of leather right there. And this is made for bracelets. You can do belts. You can do just all kinds of stuff with this. And see, I cut it just a smidgen bit longer for two different reasons. Now, I could leave it just like this. See that squared off point right there? That's the square. This is the inside right here. That's leather. And then I could leave it like that, but I really don't want to leave it at that. So let's go into a commercial break, and we're going to be back in just a minute, and I'm going to show you what I'll do to make this really pretty and rounded. We'll be right back. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. With everything going on right now, your rest is so important. That's why we're having the biggest MyPillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $29.98. Take your rest on the go with our Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows for only $14.98. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have MyPillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing MyPillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as low as $19.98. Please order now while quantities last.
Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Hi, we're back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We're very excited about being syndicated. My friend Rob Patz helped make that happen. Hey, Rob, and thank you again so much for making that happen. Now, before we went into the break, I did have this leather piece right here. We're going to make a bracelet out of it, and it's perfectly okay to leave it just like that, okay, with that square edge, but I want to make it a rounded edge. Now, we're going to make some noise here, so you may have to watch what I'm doing and do this to your ears, okay? So let's go ahead and get my block. I have this block, and it's a metal block. I've had it for years. You can tell I've mistreated it. It's been through all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I like this metal block. And so let me go ahead and turn the camera down so you can just kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I can turn it down a little bit more. Okay, and a little bit more. There we go. So there is the metal block. Okay, so I want this to be a really pretty rounded edge. So this is a tool I love to use, and you can get them in a lot of different sizes. But this just happens to fit what I've got. Try to use the right size. You'll find that that goes a long way. Okay, so I could probably use that one. I think it would work, but I would rather just be safe and go up to the larger size. So what we'll do, I'm going to turn it this way. Now take a good look at it and make sure you've got it leveled. Make sure you got it just the way it needs to be. And then what I'm going to do is grab my hammer, and I hope I've got it right here. Well, let's see. We're going to try using the mallet because I don't see my hammer. So I may have to go into a commercial break and get the hammer. But anyway, here's the mallet. It's best that you use a regular hammer though. And so here we go. I'm going to clock it down like this, okay? Yeah, I'm going to need to get my regular hammer for this. So Phil, if you want to go ahead and get that for me, I'll go ahead and start telling everybody how you can use these snaps. So the next step is going to be using snaps. So I can show you on this bracelet I made, has the snap to it. So you can see the most important thing is putting the hole where it needs to be, okay, on the back of this. So again, you'll need to try the bracelet on several times. If it's for someone else, now, oh, and I wanted to show you, see, I did not round this one off, but what I did to make it a prettier round, I went on ahead and I got, I'm probably going to need the bigger one. So I went on ahead and got, it's kind of like a fingernail file looking thing. Now you can use just a regular file if you'd like to do that. And just kind of round it off, just so the edges are rounded. So it's not this abrupt look. So there you go, see where that's rounded off right there. Okay, so Phil brought me another hammer. Let's see if this one will work. And let's see. There's my tool right there. See how I kind of make that little indentation right there? Well, what we're going to do is make it a perfectly rounded mark. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it right here. And that's the one I need right there. I love this hammer. This hammer is a real good one for metalworking too. You can take this off, and this will make some real pretty edges on your metal working. We'll talk about that sometime. Okay, now I'm going to make a bunch of noise. I'm just telling you, it's going to be really loud. Make sure this thing is on good and tight. Sometimes I take it off and put different things on it. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's look at that beautiful rounded mark. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. So let's go on ahead, and I see it's not quite like I want it. I'm going to go on ahead and, yeah, I was trying not to make a bunch of noise. I'm trying to be quiet, and I can't seem to be quiet. Okay, here we go. There we go. And it just makes a good clean mark. I'm trying to be quiet. Now, if I'm in the workshop by myself, I don't care how loud it gets. Let's go ahead and do it again. Make it pretty. Okay. I just don't want the camera being so loud. There we go. That took it off. Okay, now this side is going to be right here. It will look like, let's see, where's it at? Right here. It's going to be like this one, okay? So what I'm going to do, there's a couple of issues, or a couple of things you can do. I can use, it's kind of like a little, see this right here, it has a little cylinder to it. Now I can use that. Now you need to make sure that you're not making the hole too big. Now you can see I've used this a lot. You need to make sure you keep it cleaned out. Don't look like I do, okay? So you want to make sure that the hole is not too big. So what I'm going to do, I'll use this. And let me get right here to about the middle of it and just kind of eyeballing it right now. You've got to make sure before you go to cutting on this leather again, you got to get this part right first. Okay, and you swing it over here just a little bit. See what I'm doing? Right here, I hope you can see that. So, I'm mashing down on the leather, and I'm also going to twist it a bit. See what I'm doing? Okay, and there is the nice hole. And so that's going to be just right for what I'm going to be doing. Now, another thing I want to do, I want to measure this again, okay? I want to make sure that I've allowed enough. Here we go. See, it needs to be, that's another thing about if you dampen it, well then that's just going to make life a lot easier. So this is about where I want it. So I'm going to kind of put my fingernail here. I'm going to put this where I know the tip was, right there. And so the next thing is to get my Sharpie. So I'm going to make another mark inside using the Sharpie. So see, it's going to fit exactly right to the proportion, see, of this bracelet. Okay, and always put your cap back on your Sharpie, okay, because these things dry out easy, and this is like a pretty awesome tool. Okay, so I've made my mark, and I'm not so worried about that one being rounded off. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to move this out of the way. So I've got another thing I'm going to do. I'll make another hole. Now, here I'm using this little handy thing right here. I'm mashing down on this leather. See, I heard it make that little sound. That means it's all the way through. But now I like twisting it also. See, there we go. I've got it done. Now what you need to do, you need to get, like, turn it kind of like this, and you can get a nail or something in these little holes that you see in here. You need to keep them cleaned out. Okay, so that's all you got to do is just get a little nail, and what it'll do is all of that's going to come down in here, down into this part, and you just flick it off and throw that into the trash, and you'll get a lot longer life out of this thing right here. Now, another thing that you can do, if you don't want to use this gadget right here, if you don't want to use that, another thing you can use are these. Okay, it seems quicker when I do this, and plus I'm not like banging all and driving you nuts when I'm making something. Now when I'm by myself, I'll use that. Okay, I really like this size. This is a real good size, and what you would do is just put this wherever you want the hole to be, and just use your hammer, and then just make the hole in it like that. Okay, now while I've got you down here, let's go ahead and put our snaps on there. Now remember, the outside pretty part is this rounded part, okay? So what we're going to do is put this snap right here goes on top. So I'm going to put it inside that hole. See what I've just done? So I've put it there. Now what I want to do, I've got this little contraption. I'll move this out of the way. So this fits in, and what this will do is keep this part right here from getting bent or from getting tattered or torn. Okay, so let's move this little sucker out of the way. Alright, so I'm going to put it right here. Now what I'm going to do now is put this piece, okay, And then I'm just find my other tool, and all I've got to do is bend that in and make a snap. Now it looks like I'm running out of time. Okay, I'll get a little bit more into detail with the snap at a later time, because I really wanted to show you how, I'll move this out of the way, I really wanted to show you how really easily that I can get this belt right here, and I can take that Alabama logo off, and I can put that into this belt. So I've got my little screwdriver. Make sure you measure that out. So here's the screwdriver. Let's go ahead and take this out right here. Yeah, seems like I never have enough time to spend with you. Okay, and let's go ahead and take that one out. Okay, I'm going to put that over to the side. And then I'll take this out. Okay, so there's the Alabama logo. Now let me show you something that's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Okay, so you can see the bottom. Make sure you got it in the center, okay? There we go. Let's get this as close to the center as we can. I'm going to mash this down. And please excuse my fingernails. I forgot to polish them. Oh my goodness. Okay, so see, I've made a couple of little marks right here. Not sure I had it exactly rounded. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple of little marks right here. We're going to get that Sharpie out again. I actually won't need the Sharpie. All I'm going to do is get the pliers I have right here. Okay, I'm going to make a little indentation, and I think that might be too big. It is. Let's go ahead and make it a smaller size. All right, how about we go right here. Okay, let's make the hole right there. See the little indentation that I had, and I twisted it, so that makes this little hole. All right, let's make sure that goes in. Oh, that's going to be pretty. Okay, I'm indenting this. I just want to make sure I've got it in the right spot. See, it never hurts to be very careful when you're doing this stuff. Okay, let's see where that may have went. Okay, I've got him right there. Okay, I'm going to make another hole right here. I'm mashing that in. I'm twisting again. Okay, there are the two holes. And look at this, how easy this is. All I've got to do is match that up. I'll put the screws in right here. It looks like I've got just 30 seconds to get this done for y'all. Here I go, I'm putting that in. And then all I've got to do is put the other screw in, and look at that. I've just made a pretty bracelet. You can do it too. Now you can find all of these things at Amazon.com. All the tools I used, except for this little logo right here, that came from the thrift shop. Now that belt cost $1. I'm going to be able to make 4 bracelets out of that. See, that's all there is to it. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We are your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV worldwide. You can find us syndicated Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You take care. You're the apple of my eye. You know that?